record on this computer. Okay. So, welcome everyone to Jews in Sports, presented by aish.com and jifoundation.org in support of the Climb for Life program, where we take the most amazing kids and teens through a Spartan race who go through physical challenges in their everyday life. And not only do we change their lives, but the lives of their volunteers and the people assisting them through the course make a huge impact on themselves, and everyone learns and grows together. Please, please, please visit jifoundation.org, whether it's to volunteer. If you have a kid in a state, we want to get to as many kids as we can to go through a race and send them a message, motivate, and most importantly, be inspired by the incredible stories that we have for you there to read. My name is Michael Neuman. I'm your host. I am an elite Jewish athlete, Orthodox Jewish athlete. I have competed in Spartan racing, making podiums, and making history as the first Orthodox Jewish athlete, as well as competing on LeBron James' show $1 Million Mile on CBS, where I beat a pro athlete for $25,000, being able to inspire and help people along the way in my journey, as well as in the future, I am training right now for a sports TV competition show. So this program, this series is like none other, as we have found out on the biggest topic so far, anti-Semitism, Jewish identity, incredible conversations. But what makes it amazing is we're taking the perspective and the unique perspective from Jewish athletes, these heroes who push themselves every day, whether it's in training, mindset, where every day we feel like we fail and we have to pick ourselves up, eating well, being composed, training every day, pushing ourselves beyond our comfort zone and our pain zone to where then we can grow. So these are the people and the perspectives we want to tackle the biggest topics in our life. Introducing, I'm gonna Liba Yoffee, pronounce it right?
Yoffee, but it's all good.
So the fun segment before we introduce you, and I'm gonna show a video, the weightlifting video, right after this, but 60 seconds or a quick answer. It's a very unique thing I do on the topic to take your best shot at it before we introduce you. And the topic is that we're discussing today is sexism in Judaism, however we want to define that and however we want to tackle that. But more importantly, how are we holding our girls back from reaching their true potential, and what can we tell girls to be able to feel proud and strong in themselves?
Awesome. 60 seconds. I think that, we're not raising our children with language of like strength, being independent. We're more using words of like, kind of being in the shadows or being thin, being diets, as so we're not using words to raise them in ways that empower them, that physical strength is important, athletics are important, and it's not just about like the external. And real strength is going to help you come like way farther than just being a certain size, and it's not spoken about almost at all in our culture.
Brilliant point. Right, words make a huge impact. So the words we use, especially on the societal level, can change the way we think and then physically go and do things, especially if we're telling people to see themselves as a certain way. So let's introduce, we're going to come back to the topic. Let's quickly, if we can, we're going to share a video, a very inspiring video. You are a weightlifter. We'll go to that, and then we'll show the video and then get back into your journey on weightlifting. So let's share. Here we go. It is so amazing. Oh, it's so inspiring. Okay, so you or Orthodox, as we can see, Shaitel, Sneas, and the inspiration that you caused just at that moment, but obviously so unique in a sense that we don't see, people don't see Orthodox Jewish, Sneas weightlifters. So can you walk us through your story from high school and weightlifting to the tournament of where you weren't able to compete and your journey in weightlifting?
Okay, so as a teenager, I actually had a whole bench press set in my basement that I like bought on my own, and it was my outlet. So people like take drugs when they're like going through hard times. I lifted weights, right? So that's what I did really for like my outlet. But it was kind of something that I was embarrassed of. I didn't I didn't share it really, and also it was something that I thought was like kind of wrong with me, like it's not like feminine to like look strong. So I went through that stage of weightlifting, and then I pretty much stopped for almost 20 years because I didn't want to be like I used to be, because I thought that being that way is not like appropriate, or it's not like acceptable, which means like looking buffer, it's not feminine, and I was afraid to lift heavy weights. I like literally didn't lift anything more than 12 pounds.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's kind of like being indoctrinated in a way of like it's not a feminine thing to do. You don't want to necessarily look like that. It's not like, why do you care about that? So I stayed away from it for a long time, and my personal talent is with weight training is my ability is to be very strong, which I didn't really even know so much until I really started weight training, which was only a year and a half ago. So about a year and a half ago, I got my first time ever coach. And the first thing I said to him was, just the only thing I care about is I don't want to bulk up. Like, I don't want to lift heavy weights. That was like the first thing I said. And my coach, who's an ex-convict, like very straightforward, like yells at me, was like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's your issue? Like, where's that coming from? And like, he's like, go like tell me whatever you want. So I'm like, so like I basically told him like I have this like belief of like being like looking stronger, and he like pretty much like was like, you're like knocked it out of my head of like, what's like, you're literally letting that like rule you, like what's wrong with you,
Yeah, the ability for someone to finally look to see yourself from a different angle, and for someone on the outside to say that doesn't really make sense, that belief system, and push you in that way is such a unique thing that a lot of us, by the way, don't put ourselves in position. We don't go to those people and say, hey, what am I thinking and whatnot. So he was able to bring a different point of view and challenge you on that ideology.
Exactly. And, once I started really training, like, it wasn't even a question. Like, it was so empowering to be able to, like, keep building and lifting and, like, doing things I never even knew I could do, that it was like, this is, it's so outweighed anything. Like, it was so, like, now it's something I'm so proud of. And I think it's, like, part of my mission, of my business, to teach that. But it took going through years of avoiding it until I finally realized that this is something that's amazing, that's special.
And you went to a weightlifting competition where your moment to shine was not particularly taken away from you, but giving you another opportunity to show your values. What happened there?
So with my coach, I was, training in all the lifts, the deadlift and the squat and the bench, the press, whatever. So in all the, like, our times that we were training, like, we looked like he's in the competitions, he knows the heads of the competitions, and with all the records, like, I surpassed the record with, let's say, my weight class, my age, everything. I knew that I could enter and break a record. Like, we knew that. So I knew that the standard is you have to wear a ringlet, which is like a jumpsuit. And I knew that that was not an option for me, that I wasn't going to do that. So we tried to, we got in contact with different, like, heads of different competitions, and even like the head of the national one, he sent me back a really long email, because, like, obviously you don't want me to sue him or take him to court, but, like, about how, like, they're very sorry once they allow one thing, they can't, like, we sent them videos of me in a skirt squatting to show them that you could see everything, like, you could see form, you could see how low I am, like, you could see everything. So there's not really any reason for them to not allow it, besides that it's the rules in the rule book. Like, you're allowed to wear a hijab, you're allowed to wear that, you're allowed to wear long leggings, but you can't wear a skirt.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So when I went to from the video, that competition, what they were going to do is, there was a photographer, the videographer there, that was going to video me doing all the lifts and then send it to them, and me like, breaking those records, right? So what ended up happening was, like, it was a different type of competition. Like, basically you go to your own body weight and you do sets and whatever. I realized then that, like, this was going to be it. Like, I wasn't going to go to a national competition unless I was going to bend on my beliefs, and I wasn't going to do that. So I needed a way to, like, there was a reason why I was given this talent, this strength, and there's something I need to do with it,
I think you answered my next question, in a sense of, how did you come to that realization and that answer, in a sense that all of us have very big decisions that we have to make in our lives, but sometimes, whether it's a lot of thinking or it's an instinct or whatnot, it sounds like your answer right away was, the belief that I can use this talent for something else. This isn't the end all goal.
Right. So like, what I'm doing now, it kind of, like, fell on me. I didn't go out to accomplish it. Like, I started this business with the idea, a very small idea in my head. And when I started it, and like, it opened up so many doors, and I realized how needed this is. So, the public showed to me that, like, wow, there's nothing out there that says these, that shares these values at all. You won't find it. So if there's nothing out there, that's my responsibility to be the one
to make those values. So, in a sense of, you have coach training coach company.
I have like an online virtual health, fitness, and, like, mindset program.
Right. And more importantly, so it's a great example, in a sense of, there's an opportunity in your head, oh my gosh, this is the end all goal. Getting really, I know the feelings, right? I haven't been able to compete in certain competitions, and getting your kind of a gut feeling of, oh, I put in all this training and all this hard work, and I can't get what I perceive my goal is. And then here you go and do something way more satisfying and meaningful, and that is empowering, really, women who, like your coach, you get to break down that, whether we want to call it stigma. What do you think that is that women go through? Because I want to say stigma. Some people would say sexism. Some people would say manipulation or self-esteem. Right. What would you call that, where a woman says, I'm not able to be strong, whether that's mentally and physically, where they don't even try it, and you're trying to break that down every day through your company, your coach training company. So right. What would you call it? And then how would you say we go about breaking down that, what I would call stigma, that women are not allowed to be strong physically and look strong and feel strong and be strong, even though they can without that, but it's an option if a girl wants to do that?
So I wouldn't call it like that they're not allowed, or even, let's say, stigma. I think it's like not even knowing that is out there. Like it's not even an option. It's like there's no education about it, right? It's just, you're indoctrinated in a certain belief and a way to be that you don't even realize that there's a different way, right?
I
So,
resonate with that because I had that as a kid, as an athlete. It wasn't even my head to be a professional athlete. It just wasn't there. So I definitely agree with that definition of that. Sorry.
right. Right, that the concept is not like spoken about. So what's spoken about is if there's a mom who's like exhausted and her back hurts and everything's hurting her and she's 29, she literally is like, I feel old. And I'm like, you feel old. If you're gonna lose 30 pounds, you're still gonna feel old. Like, you're not gonna not feel old just because you go on a diet. And that's what is being indoctrinated. Everything is about eating this way, eating less, cutting your calories. You have to deprive yourself. There's, you have to do all these crazy stuff. And there's no talk about like being strong. No one would ever use that word. Like, that's my word, strong. I always use that word, like strong inside out, right? Because like you have to build strength. You have to be really, really strong in your head to be an athlete, right? You can't be an athlete if you don't have a strong mind. So my like whole thing is like training our minds, retraining our minds on what really strong means and what do you really want to, getting them in touch with like, what do you really care about? Do you really care about just being that size, or do you really want to feel strong?
So let's talk a little bit about fitness, because we were telling everyone to get motivated, and I hope people are, because your story and you're awesome and your thoughts are amazing. In how would somebody, challenge to be fitness? They've dieted, they've tried all these things. I would say beginner level. What would be the one advice you would say to start get going? And then also the same question for eating right. A lot of people have a lot of different opinions with eating. So how would someone just start to be able to start feeling good about themselves in that way?
All right. Well, it's hard because to answer that question is because I believe that every person needs a personal approach. Like, you can't tell one person the same thing they tell someone else, because health and fitness all connects our emotions. We relate to it from an emotional level. Like, eating is all emotional. It's nothing to do with the food. I'll tell you what to eat. Go Google what to eat. Go Google how to work out. Go on YouTube. You could have everything you want for free, but you're not doing it, right? Why is everybody struggling with their comfort with themselves, with eating and with their diets? Because it's an emotional thing, straight up.
Brilliant.
So that's a big thing that I do, and that's what makes it so different, is that we deal with the whole mindset part. So if I would tell a beginner, who's been dieting, let's say for a really long time, up and down, yo-yoing, going on, first what we do is we reverse diet them. But we eat a lot and we lose weight here. So, I mean, if that's your goal. For some people, their goal is solely to get strong because they're weak. But like, if let's say a client who is overweight and who's been dieting, so we help them, their body, like fix their body, reverse diet so that they can eat a lot and exercise. And we start with them with beginners and a lot of strength training. So it's at least 3/4 strength training, all different types, and building them from there. But with the eating, it's really like the times that they're eating, when they're stress eating, getting in touch with all that will really create a lifestyle change, not a temporary change.
It's fascinating because it's very, the emotional part, we're emotional beings, and we forget that is expressed in daily life as a psychotherapist. I know that. So it was just kind of cool to hear it from that section of, it is very emotional, right? How you connect with your food is how you express, your emotions, and how you, when you do it, and when. I thought that was very neat. Fun question. What's your this is more from my interest. What are your numbers in weightlifting, your PRs?
Oh, okay. So with
because I weightlift, if no one knows, but yeah.
With your video was crazy. With the deadlift, okay, my deadlift PR, which was like a while ago, it was 189, which seems very little, but I only weigh, my weight class is 98 pounds. So
that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
So it's like, it all goes according to your weight, right? And then my bench press was 115, which the record was like, I think 110. And then my
That's
squat.
incredible.
That's the hardest one. The bench press for like any woman, I think it's hardest.
Yeah, I think any guy also, just so you know, like I'm not, it's not my favorite one, bench press.
And then the squat, my squat was like 197, I think. That was my PR.
A lot of people picture the concept of that. You know, they fit people and they're like, oh, it'll be so great and whatnot. But I think a lot of people miss the boat in the sense that the people that work to be that fit have actually gone through a lot of growth and a lot of understanding. And it's not only just the work of being fit, but the work of, I mean, for me, fitness has let me into an ability to connect with Hashem more. And I think that's where people miss the boat, is they compare, they look, they say, I want to be like that. And when they get there, it's very hard to maintain. So I think your message was such a wonderful message in the sense of we need to speak better to ourselves and start asking ourselves to come out of that facade and say, what do we want for ourselves? Whether that's the same thing as before, but we need to start being more attuned to ourselves. And as you pointed out, even in eating, when you eat, when you work out, the weightlifting definitely does give you a pump of feeling good for sure. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Should we go for fun?
Me, it's a spiritual journey, because that's my company is called Spirit Fitness for that reason, because it is a spiritual journey. You cannot get to that place and maintain it if you're not on a spiritual journey. So all those people who lose weight and come back, which is 97% of people, do not maintain any results that they ever reach. That means people work so hard and fall within a few months because they didn't go on a spiritual journey. They didn't build their bodies here and their mind is here, and eventually their body comes right back to where their mind is. So you need to be on a spiritual journey at the same point, so that becomes who you are, because you're so connected to your soul that you're able to maintain. Right?
Beautiful, beautiful point. And we're going to end off there in a sense of let's show whether we want to compete or not, but more to just do a bunch of push-ups and see and challenge and push ourselves. Right. I think we were going to do a competition, but we're all in it together. So.
Well, are you doing regular push-ups or just special kind of push-ups? Are
What?
we doing regular push-ups or like?
Oh my goodness! Look at your weights. That's dreamland for me.
Well, I used to have my own studio and gym before I started my online business. So
quarantine wasn't hard for you. Okay.
What do you do? Regular push-ups?
Yeah, regular push-ups if you like. Here we go. Let's see if people count. All right. Whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Go.
If we're counting, I guess people will count.
Keep in mind, I already worked out today, so
I'm very fresh, so that's good. I'm going to work out this afternoon and tonight. Let's just.
I didn't count.
I'm not counting. I'm just keep going. Are you done? No, we're still going. Oh, we're still going. Oh. I did work out 3 times. No excuses. No excuses. And this is where, by the way, people need to understand that these extra last reps when you're tired is more important than all the other ones. Because it's the ability for you to be uncomfortable. Right now, my heart rate's high. I'm tired. I want to stop. But the one more is way more than all the others.
Stop it.
Stop. Woo! That was fun. That was fun. And let's give a quick tip to other people also. Having partners, accountability people, changes the game. Because I wouldn't have pushed myself with the 4 reps. I mean, obviously in training, you kind of want to push yourself as much as you can. But when we're human beings, when you have people looking at you, you get that little bit more.
Totally.
Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. Please go to the Spirit Fit Mama. Spirit Fit Mama on Instagram and then .com as well.
Yeah, if you want to.
And the website and Instagram. Please also, everyone, visit jifoundation.org. Visit us every week on AISH, jifoundation.org/podcast, where you can see all of the episodes from Jews in Sports. Thank you so much, and take care, everyone, and be fit and be inspired.